Hey, everybody. Hopefully this will work. I could not get the YouTube streaming thing to work through OBS. I don't know what the problem is. It just kept giving me an error pretty much no matter what I did. So apologize, guys. No comment section. Again, no chat. I don't know what the frick is wrong with that stupid thing, man. But hopefully we can get that fixed here for next week, because again, I'm super frustrated about that. I really have no idea what's going on with it. Hopefully something will get fixed and you guys can come along and help. Anyway, let's talk about some fantasy football this morning, man. Let's talk about some fantasy football. We got a ton of questions already coming in. So I'm going to try and get to those as soon as possible. I'll probably start answering the questions from this point on. So I'm not going to go back and answer anything that people asked previously to this, because otherwise it's just going to get too confusing. So if you want me to answer a question, guys, go ahead and let me know, and I'd be glad to answer it for you. So give me just a few moments here, guys. By the way, guys, thank you so much for coming by this morning. Hopefully we'll be able to help you out with your team this week. And again, guys, I'm sorry for the problems. I don't know what's going on with this stupid thing, but I'm a little bit frustrated, trust me. But hopefully we can answer your questions. What I want you guys to do, if you're interested in asking any questions, is just go ahead and drop them in the comment section of the video, or you can always tweet them to me at ClickWithTV, and I will do my best to answer them regardless of where you ask the questions at. Thank you, Chase, for sending out the stream. I appreciate it. Austin, welcome. How's it going, man?
Good. Early in the morning.
It is early in the morning for you. I know, man. And I actually just woke up too. Ryan and I were playing NHL, Destiny till the wee hours of the morning. Whoa. So we've been having fun doing that. But now ready to answer some fantasy football questions. So why don't we get things started on right away this morning with some questions from Twitter. The first one I've got is, should I play Blunt or Carlos Williams? I got to quick check the injury report because I haven't heard that LeSean McCoy is out. Unless LeSean McCoy is out, you go with LeGarrette Blunt this week, I think. Austin, agree or disagree?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are saying that Carlos Williams will probably get a little bit of work this week, and I would not be surprised about that. But at the same time, I don't think it's enough for us to go ahead and actually sit for us to actually sit LeSean McCoy. It says Alshon Jeffrey is inactive this morning, guys, by the way. So if you have Alshon Jeffrey, please be sure to take him out of your lineups. Todd Gurley also inactive. Mike Evans, Trey Mason, Delanie Walker, Mike Evans, Trey Mason, CJ Spiller, Dwayne Bowe, Jordan Reed, all active. Inactive, we've got Todd Gurley, Delanie Walker inactive. That's kind of a big one, guys. Pay attention to that one if he is usually in your lineup. Alshon Jeffrey, again, inactive this week. Couple of defensive players inactive as well, John Beeson, DeAndre Levy. Other than that, everybody's looking pretty good, it looks like. Good to hear Mike Evans being ready to go, right, Austin? No, that was what we were a little worried about.
Yeah, I like Mike Evans a lot this year.
Yeah, Mike Evans is a beast, man. I think most people had him in their top 10 or 12 or so wide receivers. Couple other questions from Twitter, fantasy questions. Chris Johnson this week or Alfred Morris? Any thoughts on that one right off the top of your head, Austin?
I'll probably start Alfred Morris just because he's a little bit more proven. Like last game, he had over 100 yards, so I'd probably
Exactly.
go Alfred Morris there.
Yeah, I'm completely with that as well, guys. And what I'm going to do is tweet out my my week 2 rankings. Unfortunately, they're not 100% updated because Alshon Jeffrey is in there. So I'm going to do an edit on Alshon Jeffrey. Pull him, make him red at least so that people can see he is inactive. And we'll do the same thing for Delaney Walker as well because I think he's the big one. Austin, can you see the chat below on here?
Yeah.
No? Okay. Are there any questions?
There's one: Matt Ryan or Tom Brady, and then Keenan Allen or Jordan Matthews.
Let's answer the first one first. What do you think on Matt Ryan versus Tom Brady? I have a pretty good opinion on this one, but I want to hear what you have to say.
I'll probably start Matt Ryan just because Tom Brady is going against the Bills, and that defense is nasty.
Yep.
So I would probably go Matt Ryan, but what would you say?
I'm definitely with you on Matt Ryan. I've got Matt Ryan ranked 4th this week. I have Tom Brady down at 10th. I believe Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time. And I mean, he tore it up this past week, but at the same time, guys, you got to go out there. You got to put Matt Ryan in there, I think, this week. He had a good game last week as well. He threw a couple of picks, but he had a big game too. Not as big as Tom Brady last week, but definitely still good enough to be a fantasy starter. And Brady has got that tough defense that he's playing against this week. They shut down Andrew Luck for the most part this past week, and I think you definitely got to go with him. What was the other question?
Keenan Allen or Jordan Matthews?
That's a good one. I'm going Keenan Allen. No, excuse me. I'm going to go Jordan Matthews in this case. Both of them very good options, I think, this week. I have both of them in my top 10. I've got Jordan Matthews slightly higher, though, against the Cowboys. I think that game could definitely go out as a shootout between the Cowboys and the Eagles this week. So I want to get any part of that I can. What do you think?
For me, it's the same. Especially because the Cowboys and Eagles, those games always go into like the 30 points. And Keenan Allen did have a really good game last week, but I don't know if he can consistently pull out like 160 yards. But I think Jordan Matthews can consistently pull out like maybe 100 yards this game and get a score or two from Sam Bradford. So I definitely like Jordan Matthews this week.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. Jordan Matthews looked good last week. I mean, people are going to talk about that he dropped that pass, but I mean, he still looked very, very good for the most part as well. So I'm not overly worried about that. Let's see here. DeAndre Hopkins or Keenan Allen?
I'm going to go Hopkins.
Are you? Okay. I'm actually going to go Keenan Allen in this one.
Okay.
DeAndre Hopkins has a tough matchup against Josh Norman if he does get lined up against him. So I don't particularly like that.
That's true. Josh Norman is a tough matchup, but I just see DeAndre Hopkins as their only red zone threat at all on offense. So, yeah, he's the number one guy there, but they're really close. I mean, I could – if you started Keenan Allen, I mean, that's fine too.
Yeah, I agree. Which two do I start? Chris Johnson, Joseph Randle, or TJ Yeldon? For me, Joseph Randle's in there. And I think between the other two, I think it's pretty darn close. Let me see where I've got them actually technically ranked here. Yeldon, I have slightly higher, I believe. Yeah, I do have no, actually, I actually do have Chris Johnson slightly higher. Yeah, I guess against the Bears. Yeah, I think that's probably right. Yeah, I am thinking I'm going to go Chris Johnson and Joseph Randle. Excuse me. Too early in the morning.
I agree with that. Yeah,
I actually quite like Joseph Randle this week against the Eagles.
Yeah, and every time those two teams match up, and there's just a lot of points going around. So, yeah, I definitely agree with those two.
Okay, great. Let's see here. We've got another question coming in. Moncrief, Brandon Coleman, or Charles Johnson? I'm going to go Moncrief here, and I know that sounds a little surprising because probably would not have done that going into last week, but he looks like the guy right now. What are you going with?
Yeah, I'm agree with that. Just because I don't think the Colts are going to have another just complete dud on offense. So I definitely think they're going to get going this week, and Moncrief is definitely going to be a huge part of that.
All right. Is Eddie Royal a viable replacement with Alshon Jeffrey out? This is coming from Tommy Brayton.
I would say, yeah, if you really needed it. If you don't have someone on your bench, like if you didn't have like, I don't know, if you don't have like Terrence Williams or something, then I guess yeah. But I'll probably start him as like a wide receiver 3 right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not overly excited about it, but he could get quite a few targets this week. We'll see what happens. Last week, it was actually Marquise Wilson that had quite a few targets. So we'll have to see kind of how that breaks down. Wilson was a guy that I was looking at as a sleeper going into this year, and it might work out better than expected with Alshon Jeffrey being injured early this year. Next question, Brandon Coleman or Anquan Bolden in the flex, non-PPR. Any thoughts on that one?
Ooh. I'm going to go Brandon Coleman just because even though I love the Niners, I mean, Kaepernick does not throw touchdowns. He throws very little yards, and I'm not huge on Anquan Bolden, so I'd probably go Brandon Coleman.
I am going to agree, actually, on that one. I actually have Anquan Bolden ranked ahead of Brandon Coleman in half PPR leagues. But in non-PPR leagues, I think Brandon Coleman's going to get a slight boost just because I don't expect him to get a lot of targets, and I don't expect him to get a lot of catches. But he is like Austin was kind of alluding to, he is definitely a better red zone threat right now, in my opinion, than Anquan Bolden is. He scored a touchdown in week 1. I think he has a chance to do it again here. Drew Brees is my number 1 quarterback this week, so I'm definitely thinking that he's going to tear them apart. The Buccaneers look absolutely horrible. All right, who should I start this week? Stevie Johnson, Michael Floyd, or Pierre Garçon? This is from Honey Mutt. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Hunne. Again, the guys are Stevie Johnson, Michael Floyd, or Pierre Garçon. Any thoughts?
Okay. I'd probably go Michael Floyd, but they're all pretty close. But yeah, I'd probably go Michael Floyd just because Pierre Garçon, the Redskins don't really have a quarterback, and Stevie Johnson, I guess you can go Stevie Johnson. Stevie Johnson and Michael Floyd are probably my 2, but I'd probably give Michael Floyd the slight edge just because I like Carson Palmer a lot better than Tyrod Taylor.
I'm actually going to go in the opposite direction here in this one. I hear where you're coming from on that. Michael Floyd's not really in the consideration for me right now. I think he's pretty clearly the wide receiver 3 in Arizona. That's a good spot to be a wide receiver 3 if you have to be one. But I'm going to go with Pierre Garçon. With Deshaun Jackson out, and we've seen this before, with Deshaun Jackson out, they will feed Pierre Garçon there in Washington, and hopefully that will continue this week. I don't know if it's going to, but I mean, just history tells us that Pierre Garçon usually performs better without Deshaun Jackson. He's gotten targeted a ton without them, so hopefully that'll happen again for you this week. Good luck either way, man. Benny Cunningham or Danny Woodhead? With Trey Mason being active, any thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a pretty tough one. Danny Woodhead or Benny Cunningham? I'd probably go Danny Woodhead. I mean, I'm not high on either of them, but with Trey Mason being back, I don't think Benny Cunningham is going to get a lot of carries at all. So, I mean, Danny Woodhead, he got some red zone looks last game, so hopefully maybe he gets a couple more this game, but I'm not super excited about either.
Yeah, I'm going to go Danny Woodhead. I'm pretty confident that he'll outscore Benny Cunningham this week. Trey Mason should get the majority of the touches, I think. So we'll see what happens. But, I mean, it looks to me like Danny Woodhead's going to get some decent touches in the red zone even. We'll see. We talked about that on the podcast that we don't necessarily know that that's going to continue all year, but it could continue early in the season at least. So I'm looking at Danny Woodhead as a potential touchdown guy and somebody that could in a PPR league definitely help you out. So I'm going Danny Woodhead there on that one. That's for Rise to Rocky Top. All right. I like that name. The next one is from Angel _____ edits. I don't know how many freaking underscores he has, but all right. How are they? I feel very confident this week. He's looking at his lineup. Actually, you know what? We're not going to go through each individual lineup because that's too hard. It's going to take us too long to do. So, good luck. Let me just take a quick look at him, and I'll give you a quick heads up. I love Amir Abdullah. I'm not missing anything. I don't see anything that looks bad in this at first look. I think you're going in the right direction by stacking Mariota and Kendall Wright in the first one for FanDuel. This is for a daily fantasy thing, so I like that. I think I helped. I'm trying to remember if Chase did that or if Ryan did that, but one of the two of them have a Kendall Wright and Marcus Mariota stack. And if you're trying to win a tournament in daily, I think you typically need to go with a stack and have that stack hit in order for you to actually potentially win. So I like going with something like that not a lot of people are probably going to be starting. So good call on that. Next one, Amari Cooper or Cole Beasley. This is from MJ99_1. Amari Cooper or Cole Beasley. For me, this one's pretty easy. It's Amari Cooper.
Yeah, definitely Amari Cooper. I mean,
right.
Amari Cooper's the number one guy, and that's obviously going to be more value than Cole Beasley. So, yeah.
Yeah, and Cole Beasley, yes, he's in a better team, and I can understand that with Dez being out, but we're still going to go with Amari Cooper here until we see Beasley be that number one guy, and I don't expect him to be. Next question from the homeboy Chase Plays Madden. Chase says, should I take out one of my Lance Dunbar picks for daily and replace him with CJ2K? Any thoughts on that?
I would probably, for daily, just for this week, then I would probably do that.
If they're the same price, Chase, I would go with CJ2K, man.
Mm-hmm.
I would go with him. Marshawn Lynch is probable. Yes, he is. Chris Ivory or Chris Johnson in a PPR. That's a really tough one because we still don't know what's going to happen with Chris Ivory. If you have Bilal Powell rostered, we answered this one on the Fantasy Swagger podcast yesterday. If you have Bilal Powell rostered, then I would stick with Chris Ivory. If you do not have Bilal Powell, I would not take the chance on Chris Ivory not playing, and then I would go with Chris Johnson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. Next question. This has got to be like a 2-team league or something. Adrian Peterson or Matt Forte?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I don't know. Maybe Matt Forte did have a monster game last week.
Yeah.
So
tough game against Arizona, but
but actually no, I'm gonna go Adrian Peterson just because I don't think he's gonna have 30 yards again. I think he's gonna explode this week. I'll probably go Adrian Peterson.
I'm gonna go Peterson in a standard, Forte in a PPR.
Yeah, I agree with that.
All right. Lamar Miller in the Dolphins this week. Can they pick it up? I think they have to. I mean, if the Dolphins don't beat the crap out of the Jaguars today, I am very, very concerned about their offense.
Yeah.
So this is their chance to shine. I got hiccups going for me. That's nice. Jermaine Kearse, Sammy Watkins, or Darren Sproles as a flex PPR. This is from Just Stock on Twitter. Any thoughts?
Okay.
It's kind of an interesting one. If it's it is PPR, so we do probably bump Sproles up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I don't think Kearse is really in the consideration. I know I put him as a sleeper and kind of like a waiver wire guy to pick up potentially, but for me, I'm probably going Darren Sproles.
Yeah, I really like Darren Sproles. Like last week, he only had a couple carries and he had a lot of yards on those carries.
Yep. And
he's definitely on the passing game. He's the go-to guy. So for PPR, I would take Darren Sproles.
All right, great. Is John Brown a good starter for Alshon Jeffrey? I say absolutely. I love John Brown.
Brown's great.
All right, nice. Sure. Doug Martin, Danny Woodhead, or Melvin Gordon in a PPR league. Interesting one because it's PPR and Danny Woodhead is involved. Any thoughts on that? We got two San Diego running backs here.
I don't know. Maybe I have no idea. How about you go first here?
All right, no problem. I will probably actually lean toward in a full PPR. I'm probably leaning toward Danny Woodhead.
Okay, I can see that.
He looked good in week one. If it's not Danny Woodhead, I'm probably going Doug Martin here because I think he's most likely to get the majority of the touches in Tampa Bay, but they could very well get blown out again. So I'm not overly excited about anybody that's getting running back touches in a game where they could be losing by 20 in the first quarter. So, that's a tough situation. Is Andre Johnson a good play from Rise to Rocky Top? He's okay. It all depends, guys, on how big your league is. What the rest of your roster looks like. I have him ranked 30th at wide receiver, so that'll help answer the question there.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Hill or Marshawn Lynch? This is coming from DJ Folger. I think again both these guys are top 5 probably starts. So I have Jeremy Hill and Marshawn Lynch ranked 1 and 2. So flip a coin, I guess. I have Marshawn ranked higher, but
I'll probably go Jeremy Hill slightly, but it's either way. They're both great.
Yeah, like I said, I have them ranked 1 and 2. Just whatever you think, man. They're both great plays this week. I like Marshawn slightly higher, but I have no complaints either way.
Yeah.
John Brown or Percy Harvin. I think this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going John Brown. I mean, Percy Harvin had a great week 1, but I do not expect that to continue. Agreed?
Yeah, John Brown is great, and he's only going to get better.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. PPR, Percy Harvin or Cole Beasley. And what do you think about Dez Bryant being out for 10 weeks? Any sleepers to pick up? I actually put out a video, so go back and check my YouTube video history. I put out a couple of options for you to pick up for Dez Bryant owners who lost him. Percy Harvin or Cole Beasley. Any thoughts on this one?
I'd probably go Cole Beasley in the PPR just because I think Cole Beasley is going to keep, especially with Dez Bryant out, he's going to be getting a lot more looks than Percy Harvin would. But, yeah.
Better offense, too. Better offense, frankly. I mean, Tyrod Taylor looked pretty good in week 1, but, I mean, we can't be super excited about that.
Yeah.
Next question, Nick Foles at Washington or Tyrod Taylor at New England? Another interesting one here because obviously we've seen Tyrod Taylor look pretty good. And honestly, in week 1, if you started Nick Foles, not that anybody would have, but if you did start Nick Foles, you probably are pretty happy with what you got out of him. I'm actually thinking Nick Foles against Washington might be a better play.
Foles too. Just because I like the matchup a lot more. And I don't think Tyrod Taylor's going to do as good as he did last week. So, yeah, I'd probably go Nick Foles.
All right, that one's from Flapjacking_. Amir Abdullah, Terrence Williams, standard scoring league. Which one are you going with? This is from the 77767 on Twitter.
I'm going
Amir Abdullah, man. Choo-choo. I'm aboard the Abdullah Express, man.
Yeah, I agree. He looked really good. I'm definitely going to go Amir Abdullah.
Vikings look so bad against the run in week 1. Now, I expect them to improve from that, but they look terrible against Carlos Hyde.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. T.Y. Hilton, questionable in the Monday night game. Sammy Watkins or Ladarius Green in the flex. This is a tough one, man, because if T.Y. Hilton does play, you're probably going to be pissed about it. But I don't think you can take that chance. I think you've got to go with Watkins or Ladarius Green here. Any thoughts as far as between the two of them? I mean, to me, I'm probably actually leaning toward Ladarius Green because he's playing out of the slot there in San Diego. San Diego likes throwing to the guy out of the slot. Green looked pretty good in week 1. He has no competition from Antonio Gates. And Sammy Watkins caught 0 passes in week 1. Now, I don't expect that to happen again, but I kind of like Ladarius Green's opportunity for a touchdown a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Ladarius Green in that San Diego Chargers. And Watkins definitely, I'm just not too high on Watkins. He doesn't look very involved in that in that Buffalo offense. So, yeah I would go Ladarius.
Yep, agreed. I'm in an 8-person standard league 3 flex. I'm stuck between my last 2 flex, Pierre Garçon, Kendall Wright, or Charles Johnson. For me, and this is from Benton Camper 3. Pierre Garçon and Kendall Wright are my 2. I like Kendall Wright quite a bit this week. Any thoughts?
I like them too. I'll probably go between the 2. I mean, you could flip a coin basically, but maybe Pierre Garçon, like you said earlier, he's now the number 1 guy there. So, and Mariota, I don't think he's he's for sure not going to do as good as he did last week. So,
yeah, I agree. All right, Mike Wallace or Golden Tate for a PPR? I'm going Golden Tate pretty easily. This is from Sly Assassin. Yep,
yeah,
Golden Tate. Yeah. Dion Lewis or Lance Dunbar full PPR. This is an interesting one. 2 PPR guys. I'm going to go Lance Dunbar, though, because I think his role is a little bit more established in the offense. And I think he was out there on pretty much every single third down opportunity. I know I might have Dion Lewis ranked a little bit higher in a half PPR because I think he might actually get more touches, if that makes sense. But in a full PPR, I would not be surprised if Lance Dunbar comes out there and gets 6-7 passes going his way again. So in a full PPR, I'm going with Lance Dunbar. But they're very close.
I'm with you. Yeah, they're both close, but I like Lance Dunbar.
Yeah, and both interesting guys. Both guys that you should be paying attention to because they're probably available in your league. So if you're a PPR league, definitely think about those guys. Pay attention to what happens. This is from Cullenberger's number 1 fan, and his name on Twitter is Clickwoods Chill as F. All right, this is the question that he has. Someone dropped Deshaun Jackson in my 10-team league, and I picked him up. Good idea. I have him and Dez on the bench. I say no. I think Deshaun Jackson might be out for 4 or 5 weeks at this point. This type of injury that he has is not one that you're going to recover from quickly, especially if you're a speed wide receiver like Deshaun Jackson. I worry about his situation. Dez Bryant, if you have an IR spot, I think that you want to keep one of these guys. Otherwise, I mean, it depends on the depth of your league. If you're in a 14-team league, I think you've got to probably keep Dez just because when he comes back, he's going to give you that advantage. But in like a 10-team league, an 8-team league, I can see dropping Dez Bryant. I know that sounds crazy, but like if you don't have an IR spot, I don't like keeping guys that are injured for that long. Any thoughts?
Yeah, like you said, I mean, having 2 receivers that are both not going to play, both sitting on your bench, I definitely don't like that. So I would probably get rid of one of them right now for someone who's going to play.
Yep, I agree. John Brown, Jonathan Stewart. I don't know if this is a PPR, so we're going to assume it's not a PPR. Okay. I'm going to go Jonathan Stewart. Just based off of touches.
Yeah, Jonathan, touches are everything, so yeah, Jonathan Stewart.
Yep. And if it is PPR, I'm probably sliding John Brown up. Should I start Marcus Mariota, Russell Wilson, or Phillip Rivers this week? This is from his Airness 1984. I'm going with Russell Wilson still.
Yeah, I'll probably go with Russell Wilson just because obviously Mariota is not going to do as great, and I like Wilson a little bit more than Rivers. So.
Yeah, more proven too. Mariota's played 1 game. I don't think we can bench our guy that we drafted that high. One thing I would tell you with this situation is I'm looking to move one of these quarterbacks, man. I don't think you need quarterbacks on your roster. You got to get rid of one of those guys. Danny Woodhead or Joseph Randle in the flex in a standard league. I'm definitely going Joseph Randle in a standard league.
Yeah. I mean, Joseph Randle looks like he's the guy. So
yeah, I agree. I'm Baba is who that's from. Next one from the Sports Legends. Should I start Watkins or Hilton in a PPR league? You got to go Watkins just because we don't know if Hilton's going to play.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right.
Don't want to get those zeros.
Yep. Agreed. Madden Maniac tweets. He says questionable T.Y. Hilton Monday night game. Sammy Watkins or Ladarius Green. I think we already answered that one. Going Ladarius Green. Brad Coolhands. He asks D'Angelo Williams, Joseph Randle, or Jonathan Stewart in a standard league. I'm going to go Joseph Randle again.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to go Joseph Randle.
Okay. Pick 2 PPR. This is from N Parrots 24. Pick 2 PPR. T.Y. Hilton, Moncrief, Fitzgerald, or Garcon. It's definitely not T.Y. Hilton. So it's Moncrief, Fitzgerald, or Garcon. Any thoughts as far as those guys go?
I like Moncrief and Garcon out of the 3. Just because I don't think Fitzgerald he's not as good as he used to be. So, yeah.
I can see where you're coming from on that for sure. I think later in the season, we're going to see more of Fitzgerald not being kind of what we've expected Fitzgerald to be throughout his career. I personally am going to go with Fitzgerald, though. I'm going to go with Fitzgerald and Moncrief, I think, because I think that the Cardinals have a great opportunity this week to put up a good number of points. So I think I like his potential better than Garcon's. Like I mentioned before, I do like Garcon because I think he's the wide receiver 1 there, but their offense just isn't as good as Arizona's right now. I can tell you guys right now, Carson Palmer, if you take the past 16 games of his, 16 games that he started, he has put up monster numbers. Like we're talking like 4,500 yards, 30 touchdowns, like 10 picks. Like it's ridiculous. So, I mean, this is a guy that would be a QB1 right now if you took the last 16 games that he had. While he's healthy, Carson Palmer's been a beast. So don't sleep on him, man. He can put up good numbers. Sammy Watkins, John Brown, or Vincent Jackson in a non-PPR. So for me, it's between John Brown and Vincent Jackson. Not going Sammy Watkins just based on what we saw last week. Any thoughts as far as that goes? Obviously, we've got Mike Evans back this week, which is going to help Vincent Jackson in a way and kind of hurt him in a way. So any thoughts as far as that goes?
I'm going to go with the kind of hurt him. I think Mike Evans coming back is going to definitely take away some targets. So I like John Brown a little bit more.
I agree. And Parrots also asks, full PPR league, Frank Gore or Alfred Morris? Neither of these guys are much of a PPR guy, so I'm not really worried about that. I'm going to go Alfred Morris, though.
Yeah, Alfred Morris last week did a lot better. I mean, I know the whole Colts offense was just completely destroyed by the Bills, but still, like, Morris a little bit better.
Yep, agreed. Let's try and go a little bit rapid fire with this stuff if we can.
Okay.
I mean, if it has to be explained, we can. But all right. Need 2. This is from Matt B-Ball 1300. One more. I need 2 wide receiver and a flex. So, all right, we've got Randall Cobb, Brandon Cooks, Jarvis Landry, John Brown, and Doug Martin. These are all really good options. Randall Cobb's in there for me. Brandon Cooks is in there for me, and Jarvis Landry. I'm benching John Brown and Doug Martin, excuse me.
Yeah.
Agreed? All right. And it's full PPR as well, so I do tend to like the wide receivers a little bit more in those situations. Tyler Eifert, a sell high, or should I keep him? Good question, actually. I think he is a sell high, but at the same time, I also think that you can hold on to him because I'm not sure that you're going to get enough in return for him at this point to sell him. Any thoughts as far as Tyler Eifert goes?
Yeah, I'm keeping him just because I do think he has a lot of. Even though you could sell him right now for just a lot of value, I definitely think that he's still going to be used. It's not just a one week wonder type of person. I think he's going to still do great. So,
yep, I agree. Jordan Reed or Kyle Rudolph?
I'm gonna go Kyle Rudolph.
Interesting. I am actually going to go Jordan Reed here. I think. And I don't mind Kyle Rudolph by any means. Detroit's not great against the tight end position, but Jordan Reed is, in my opinion, a pretty clear-cut tight end 1 while he's healthy. And I know he's not fully healthy right now, but while he's on the field, he's been a tight end 1 for the most part throughout his career. So keep him in there while you can, man, but keep Kyle Rudolph rostered, I think. And I don't know if that's a daily question or not, but if you got Kyle Rudolph, keep him rostered. Next question from K Shields 03, Percy Harvin, Mike Wallace, Dante Moncrief, or John Brown. For me, we're going John Brown.
Yeah, John Brown. I love him.
This is a tough one. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Nitzia Tyler. Larry Fitzgerald, Vincent Jackson.
Larry Fitzgerald, just because, I like the Cardinals.
Yep, I would probably agree with that. Depends on if it's full PPR or not. If it's full PPR, I'm going Fitzgerald. If it's standard, I'm going Vincent Jackson. In a half PPR, I'm going to go Vincent Jackson as well because I think that they're going to have to air the ball out against New Orleans to try and keep even remotely close. This could be a blowout early. Next question, John Brown or Golden Tate? We are both, I think, firmly aboard the John Brown train.
Oh, yeah.
But I think that they're very, very close. I'm going to go John Brown, though.
Yeah, I'm still going to go John Brown.
Next question from Raptor X3. Who should I put at flex, Amari Cooper or Mike Evans? I'm going to go, oh, man, this is tough. Obviously, Evans is on the field, so we like that. But just, you know what, man? I think it depends. I think it depends on your situation. If you think you need the home run, I'm going with Mike Evans. Otherwise, I think Amari Cooper's good enough that I'm confident starting him. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Mike Evans. If I go Mike Evans, I'm just gonna hope that he just gets some red zone looks because that's what he's known for. So.
Yep, completely agreed. I changed my lighting real quickly there, guys. So hopefully I'm not quite as bright. Lions defense. I'm not doing a defensive question. Sorry, I don't care. It's too stupid of a question. No offense, but it's just defenses are such a hit or miss thing, man. I don't like answering questions about them. Should I start Larry Fitzgerald or Jarvis Landry? For me, it's Jarvis Landry.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry.
As long as he is the wide receiver 1 there in Miami, they should be getting good number of targets to him, and he should be able to put up good numbers. Jason Witten or Greg Olsen this week? Close, man. I have them ranked 4 and 5 at tight end. I'm going to go Jason Witten.
Yeah, I mean, Jason Witten has the great matchup against the Eagles. So.
Yep, and with Dez out, man, he might get fed. We'll see. Amari Cooper, and thank you, Raptor X3, for tweeting out the stream. Everybody that's tweeted out the stream, thank you, guys. We appreciate it. Amari Cooper or Terrence Williams in a non-PPR this week?
I like Terrence Williams just because I love the matchup against the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that. I like Amari Cooper a little bit better in PPR than I do non-PPR. Okay. So I could see sliding Terrence Williams in there, but I'm going to probably go. Well, I don't know. I think that's super close. For me, I might go Terrence Williams just for the upside in a non-PPR. T.Y. Hilton or Marcus Wheaton? I think you got to go Marcus Wheaton. I'm gonna pretty much tell you to bench T.Y. Hilton for almost anybody with a pulse right now, unless you've got another Colts wide receiver or a Jets wide receiver. If you've got like T.Y. Hilton and Eric Decker, I think you could probably keep T.Y. Hilton in there right now and then make the decision tomorrow night if T.Y. Hilton doesn't play. But otherwise, you don't take a potential 0 out of T.Y.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he does play, he's not going to be at 100%. So keep that in mind as well. Danny Woodhead, John Brown, or Devontae Adams in a flex standard scoring league. That's a close one for me.
Yeah.
All these guys are good options, especially in PPR. But these guys this is a standard scoring, so I'm taking out Danny Woodhead. So then it comes down to John Brown or Devontae Adams.
That's a good one. I would probably give Devontae. I like Devontae Adams a little bit better. I know the matchup against Seattle, but I would probably go to Adams.
Yeah. I'm gonna go John Brown.
Okay.
I hear you on the Devontae Adams, and I like Devontae Adams a lot. I have both these guys as a wide receiver too, but I think the matchup is quite a bit better for John Brown against Chicago than it is for Devontae Adams against Seattle. We might see Richard Sherman just be on Devontae Adams all day. They might put 2 guys on Randall Cobb out of the slot and then just say beat us with something else. And if they do that, that's going to be really tough for the Packers. So we'll see what happens. Greg Olsen, Jason Witten, we already answered that. Martellus Bennett or Roddy White in my flex, non-PPR. I'm gonna go Martellus Bennett. I know normally I don't go with tight ends over wide receivers, but I actually really like Martellus Bennett this week.
Yeah.
Arizona's historically really, really bad against tight ends,
especially because Alshon Jeffrey is going to be out. So
exactly. Bishop Sankey, or he says Julius Randle, but his name is Joseph Randle. We're not talking Julius Thomas anymore, so no. Bishop Sankey or Joseph Randle?
Joseph Randle.
Yeah, I agree. I like Sankey this week. I don't mind having him in your lineup, but Joseph Randle for me. Dante Moncrief, Jonathan Stewart, or D'Angelo Williams in the flex. I don't know if it's standard scoring or PPR, so we're going to assume it's standard scoring. I'm going to go Jonathan Stewart.
Yeah.
Terrence Williams, Sammy Watkins in a standard scoring league. Terrence Williams for me.
Yeah, I like Terrence Williams a lot this week.
Sorrows _ Benton Camper asking another question. He says, love the content. Who are some suggested players to trade for Dez? Is it a bad idea? I like the stacked playoff team. So some players who you could potentially give away right now for Dez Bryant, like at wide receiver right now. I mean, I would be talking like low end guys. I mean, we're talking like real low end guys. Like for me, I'm not giving up anything better than like Michael Crabtree for Dez, to be honest with you. And I love Dez. You guys know that I'm a Cowboys fan, but like at the end of the day, I understand you want a stacked playoff team, but Dez might not be healthy by the end of the season. I mean, like just because he's back on the field doesn't mean he's going to be at 100%. You know what I'm saying? So you've got to keep that stuff in mind before you start stacking your team for the playoffs. Maybe once we hear a little bit more about Dez and what's going on with that situation, you might have to give up a little bit more, but so what? Instead of giving up Michael Crabtree, you have to give up, Stevie Johnson. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that big of a deal still, I don't think. Let's hear a little bit more about it before we give up stuff for Dez. Amir Abdullah or Joseph Randle in a half PPR. I'm, again, aboard the Abdullah Express, man. I'm going with Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, I would go with Amir Abdullah, especially because it's the half PPR.
Yep. Carson Palmer, Tony Romo. I love both of these guys this week, but I am going to go Tony Romo.
Yeah, Tony Romo against the Eagles is going to be a high-scoring game.
Love it. This is from How Are You 25. He asks, D'Angelo Williams, TJ Yeldon, Trey Mason, full PPR league. Any thoughts as far as those three goes?
I don't know. They're all really close. Maybe, not I wouldn't go D'Angelo Williams just because that Niners defense is really tough. So maybe TJ Yeldon, but I'm not sure.
It's tough. We don't know what the situation is with Trey Mason right now. Is he going to get all the carries?
Mm-hmm.
It's tough to say. I think for the potential upside this week, I am probably going to go with Mason just because Washington's defense isn't very good. I understand their run defense is quite a bit better, but hopefully Mason will get in there as a red zone for a red zone touchdown. Everybody else has got tough matchups too. So, I mean, it's really not an easy matchup either way. Let's see here. Tom Brady or Drew Brees? Good problem to have, but Drew Brees is my number one quarterback this week, man.
Yeah,
I don't think you bench Drew Brees.
Especially Tom Brady going against the Bills.
Yep. Selly Hard Productions. I see your tweet here, and I might get back to answering it later. But rather than trying to read off your entire team to everybody and answer it, I'm just going to ask you to re-ask the question. If you have specific players that you want us to answer, I would be glad to do that. We'd be glad to answer that for you. But let's just do a yes or no, one guy or the other. Maybe give me 2 options, 3 options, and then we can do that a little bit easier. Johnny Manziel or Marcus Mariota? This one's, for me, is very easy. We're going Mariota. T Lombardi
Mariota.
TV. I'm hoping this is a 2-quarterback league. I know you've got a picture of Johnny Manziel as your avatar. Oh, never mind. That's not Johnny Manziel. It's another guy, same number. Never mind. But Marcus Mariota, though. All right. Should I trade Dez and Chris Ivory for Adrian Peterson? If you can do that deal, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, definitely do that if you can. If somebody's willing to give you Adrian Peterson for a trade with Dez Bryant in it, yeah, we're doing that. And going into this week, with before Dez was hurt, I would not have done that. But now, yes, absolutely. Do I start all 3, Randall Cobb, Mike Evans, and Jordan Matthews? If so, who's my running back? Joseph Randall, Doug Martin, or Frank Gore? Joseph Randall at running back, and yes, start all 3 wide receivers. Yep. Absolutely. Especially if it's PPR. Doug Martin and Frank Gorson on the bench this week. Who do I start and who do I trade? Or let's see here. Which one should I trade away? Standard scoring, Mariota, Phillip Rivers, or Russell Wilson? Good question. I think that was based on what we said before. So here's the deal. It all depends on what you can get in return for these guys, because I think if you went out and you started, obviously I think Russell Wilson's going to get you the most in return. So the question then becomes, are you comfortable with starting Mariota or Phillip Rivers every week? And if you're comfortable with playing the matchups, which I think in most cases you probably would be, Phillip Rivers is a good weekly starter just by himself. And if you've got the option to put in Mariota in certain situations, I like that a lot. So I would probably go with Russell Wilson just based on the fact that he can get you the most in return.
Yeah.
All right. But I mean, obviously I think we like Wilson the most out of the 3 going forward. So, I mean, it's a tough question to answer, but all right, this is a tough question here. Quarterback, from Raptor_X3, Johnny Manziel or Jameis Winston?
Oh, man.
Yeah, they're not great options.
Yeah.
I've got them ranked back-to-back. I am going to go with Manziel against Tennessee. I know Tennessee's D looked good in week 1, but Manziel, I think, has more of an opportunity to run for 30, 40 yards. So hopefully he can put up some decent numbers in the running game. He might even run for a touchdown. We've seen him run quite a bit in the red zone. So I'm going to go with Manziel. Yeah. Just based on the running. Yeah. And I know people want to think Winston's a mobile QB. He's really not. He's really not a runner. Bishop Sankey or Melvin Gordon this week in a standard scoring league? I'm going to go with Bishop Sankey.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bishop Sankey just because Melvin Gordon's still not – you don't know how many touches he's going to get. So. Yep.
From Madden Maniac, question is Randall Cobb or Terrence Williams? I'm still going Cobb, man. I know he's hurt, but and obviously we like Terrence Williams, but Randall Cobb, man, he's such a beast. He might even be able to beat Richard Sherman if they put Sherman on him. So I'm not even that concerned about that. Bishop Sankey or Melvin Gordon, we already answered that. You asked it a couple times, it looks like. And Ryan Tannehill, Andrew Luck, or Carson Palmer. Here's the thing. You got to get rid of one of these guys, right? Again, we're in the same situation as we were with the other guy. I think all of these guys are good options going forward. Right now, I have all 3 of these guys ranked in my top 12 for this week. But the bottom line is you drafted Andrew Luck to be your quarterback, and he's your quarterback number 1 for a reason, right? I mean, we saw a little bit to be concerned about in week 1 with him not looking too good and their offense looking not good at all against Buffalo. But look, against most teams, he's going to tear it up. And I understand the Jets have good corners and everything like that, and T.Y. Hilton's hurt and everything. But look, Andrew Luck's a beast, man. He's an absolute beast. I think you still got to go with Andrew Luck.
Yeah, for sure, Andrew Luck.
All right. And trade away Carson Palmer once he has the big week this week. Hopefully he can be a good trade bargaining chip for you. And hopefully Ryan Tannehill has a good week too. Yep. Terrence Williams, Chris Johnson, or Mike Evans, standard scoring.
I would go for probably Terrence Williams.
Would you? Again, I think it depends on what you need. Because if you feel like you need the home run, you've got to go Mike Evans here. And so I think it depends on what happened. Like if your opponent had Emmanuel Sanders and Jamal Charles on Thursday night and they put up a good number of points, you got to go Mike Evans. If you're just looking at a base, everybody has zeros right now, and you don't think you need to have the huge game to win, I'm probably leaning towards Terrence Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Eli Manning, Ryan Tannehill, Teddy Bridgewater. PPR, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, right. Ryan Tannehill, Eli Manning, Teddy Bridgewater. Well, it's definitely not Teddy Bridgewater for me after what he did in week 1.
Bridgewater.
I got Eli Manning and Ryan Tannehill ranked back to back. Both of them have good options, or a good. They're both good in terms of their opponents. Eli Manning versus Atlanta, Ryan Tannehill at home against Jacksonville. I can see going either way with it. I've got Eli slightly higher, but I'm not too confident in that.
Maybe go Tannehill just because the matchup against the Jaguars, and he can get some rushing yards. So.
And they're at home, right? I mean, we like home versus away whenever we can. Eli on the road again this week. Ryan Tannehill's. I have that flipped. Ryan Tannehill away at Jacksonville. Thankfully, Jacksonville's not too far away from Miami. Ryan Tannehill home against Atlanta. I am gonna go Eli, but either way, close enough either way. Mike Evans, Jarvis Landry, or Sammy Watkins. I love Jarvis Landry this week. I don't know if it's PPR, but especially if it's PPR, I'm going Jarvis Landry. I don't think Watkins is in consideration here.
Yeah.
Pick 2 in the long run, so not just for this week. We've got Sammy Watkins, Golden Tate, Percy Harvin, Nate Washington, Devin Funchess. I think Watkins and Golden Tate easily.
Okay, yeah.
I don't think it's close with Harvin, Washington, or Funchess. Cole Beasley, Vincent Jackson this week. Standard scoring lead, non-PPR. Vincent Jackson's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, Vincent Jackson.
Someone offered me Carson Palmer for Russell Wilson. Should I take it? Standard scoring. If you're getting Russell Wilson, then yes.
Yeah, if you're getting him, but don't trade away Russell Wilson.
No, and I like Carson Palmer. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's put up, like I said, huge numbers over the past couple of, or the past 16 games that he's played. He's been a number 1 QB. He's been a top 12 QB. But Russell Wilson has that potential to be the number 1 quarterback on a week-to-week basis. So I'm definitely going with Russell Wilson. You want him for sure going forward. And then we've got a question here from Owen the Bees. Owen says, Rivers or Breeze, standard scoring league.
I'll go Breeze.
Yep, number 1 QB this week. And then Latavius Murray or Jarvis Landry. Jarvis Landry for me.
Yeah, Jarvis Landry, yeah.
Then last question that we're going to answer today. Yeah. I was offered to give away Matt Ryan, Alshon Jeffrey, and Jeremy Hill for Julio Jones and Justin Forsett. I'm going to say no because I think
that's a lot.
I like Jeremy Hill better than I like Justin Forsett. First of all, and then it comes down to Julio Jones for Matt Ryan and Alshon Jeffrey. I think it depends on your quarterback situation a little bit. If Matt Ryan's expendable to you, I think you could do this trade. And if you need a wide receiver, but for me, just in a bubble and not any consideration of any other circumstances, I think you can't really do this trade.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, guys. So that's probably going to be it. Let me just check the YouTube comments just to make sure we don't have anything else coming in. Twitter questions are done for today. Hopefully I can answer them for you guys next week as well. I mean, I'm sorry, guys, that we couldn't do the chat this week. It's really tough for some reason. I can't get that freaking thing to work with my open broadcaster, so I'm a little bit frustrated, but what are you going to do? Chris, okay, so we got a couple more questions here. Chris Ivory or Brandon Marshall or Jordan Matthews. Definitely going with Jordan Matthews this week.
Yeah, I love the matchup, Matthews.
Yep, and Ivory would be a consideration, but he's questionable for Monday night, so we're not playing him. Alfred Morris, Doug Martin, standard scoring league.
I'll go Alfred Morris.
I'm going to go Alfred Morris as well. So we got a lot of agreement this week between us, but not on everything. Some disagreement, but I think we're definitely in agreement on a lot of guys. We love the Abdullah Express. We like Jarvis Landry this week. John Brown's high for us.
John Brown, yeah.
Yeah, so good questions, everybody. Thank you guys so much for stopping by today. Good luck on your fantasy teams. Go out there, make the updates for your lineups. Win yourselves your fantasy football leagues this week. For Austin, we're going to wrap things up. Thank you guys so much again for all the support. Talk to you guys again next week. We're going to be doing another podcast and then probably another Sunday morning show. Austin, anything else you want to say?
No, see you guys later.
Good luck, everybody. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.